So if you're looking for a sedan alternative or something smaller than your traditional 5-seater crossover, this CX-30 might be the perfect fit for you. And although this lovely lady might be loaded with premium features and a little bit pricier, you can get this in a lower trim starting at around $22K, which means it really opens the door for many to enjoy. So the real question, will this pass the lab test? Well, let's find out. Now, one of the great things about a small compact SUV race sedan is this, way better than a traditional trunk. And because it's not as high, it's that much easier to load in something big. Andy, get out of that bag. Or your fur kid. Now, Andie's about 74 pounds, and even though considered a large breed, something extra large like a Great Dane, Great Pyrenees, even a tall German Shepherd, not gonna work back here. And even for Andie's size, you're still gonna have to plop down a second row seat. Please do not shove your dog in this rear. And when the seats are fully flat, check that out. Now you could go to Home Goods. Well, maybe not just quite yet, but hopefully one day soon. Now, I happen to sit closer to the steering wheel, so the seats plop down nice and easy. But if you happen to sit further back, you're gonna have to make a few adjustments before you plop those things down. But don't worry, you have programmed seating in here, so you don't have to worry about fiddling too much to get it back to normal. But if you look up here, you got buttons to close this thing or walk away lock feature. Only available in this trim. Now, the leather seats in here feel really nice, and I'm not just saying that. A few weeks back when we reviewed the CX-9, I thought the leather felt like vinyl. Not in here. Much softer, very high end. Now, the two trims below this gets a leatherette, and although maybe not as soft, I do find leatherette to be very pet friendly. And I know white leather can be a little scary, but if you get the black, I think it's gonna feel really small in here. So I recommend getting some good old leather cleaner. And no, this is not a sponsored product. It just happens to work real good. And because it's so petite, it's actually real easy to dust this little thing down. Now, these vents positioned perfectly angled toward the driver and the passenger. Normally they'd be here, but they're not, so it's really clean, clutter-free, and I think much more sophisticated. And look down here, there's a herringbone type pattern. Now, it's a little hard to pick up because it's underneath the shiny black trim, which is, yes, scratched, but it is a great idea. I just wish it popped a lot more. Also, check this out, visor extenders. How nice is that for a petite ride? Oh, look at you, so cute. Oh, and the center console, very special. Check this out, it's movable. Slide it, tilt it, have fun with it. You know what that means? If you gotta sit closer to the steering wheel like myself, you still have an elbow rest. Yes, it's so fantastic. Now, you also have a little bin over there, and you can actually fit a big mug and some water bottles in the door bins, which is great. Sometimes these petite rides have some really wimpy door space. Yes. Oh, how rude of me, of course. Now, the infotainment, yes, it's very far away, but that's because Mazda cares about you, and they feel a touchscreen is a major distraction. So no, you can't get an arm extender and try to tap that thing. I already did. It doesn't work. Instead, you get this beautiful control knob. Now, if you're not used to a screen or you're nervous about learning a new system, don't be. This will not overwhelm you. And if you use the hard buttons to guide you, I think you'll be off to a good start. Just hit home whenever you're confused. Plus, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto will either connect from here in the center or up front, so so you can plug in wherever you prefer. And look at that, a seatbelt alert. Normally, you only really see those in the bigger SUVs. So if you have a limited range of motion and it's hard for you to turn, or you just woke up with a really, stiff neck, you don't have to stretch to turn. Just look up there to see who's got that life belt on. But on the flip side, if mobility is not an issue, I do love how you could flip up these second row seats from right up here. You may think it's silly, but it's actually been really convenient for me. Now, when it comes to that second row seat, you have a 60-40 split, beautiful leather. And the armrest, it's got a nice squeeze and plushiness factor. Squishiness. It's actually pretty comfortable. Legroom isn't so bad for me, and this is with the seat all the way back. Now, I'm about 5'2", 5'3", so if you're one of those tall humans, you're not gonna be as comfortable. Headspace, look, I am more than extending myself, and I'm just touching now. So that's actually pretty impressive. Kids, you're gonna be fine back here. And this is what the legroom looks like at midline. Much better, but overall, not so bad. But since Andie likes to ride around in her big bed, I found having the larger section down worked best for us. And when the seats are down, they don't entirely cover the second row vents. That's right, there are second row vents in here, which was not the case in the Mazda 3. And because this is a petite ride, keep in mind that much faster to cool this thing down. Now with that said, let's go for a drive. So when it comes to this CX-30, it's fun to drive, it's easy to whip around, which makes it very convenient when you need to make a quick little U-turn. It feels more like a sedan to me. I'm used to driving a crossover, so I feel a little bit more low, but if you're used to driving a car, this may feel very natural. When I first got in, my immediate reaction was to elevate the seat, but then my head touched the ceiling, so we got it all figured out. However, with that said, this is very smooth and comfortable to drive. And this particular model has all-wheel drive, which is a $1,400 upgrade from the front-wheel drive version. And honestly, it feels pretty solid. Sometimes these compact SUVs feel more like a wafer, like you could just blow it over. And I feel confident quickly accelerating, pulling out onto a busy road, because this little thing does move. You also have sport mode, which definitely gives it a little bit more spunk. And I think Andie looks really good despite having a little less room than what she's used to. I think the fact that her bed can fit back there and be fully flat, not squished, is huge. I also think because it's lower, she feels more planted, which always improves her comfort. And the interior noise, it's also pretty quiet, which is great for pups. And safety is pretty much standard across the trim levels, which is really good. I have it pretty engaged right now, so the steering wheel will vibrate if I start to swerve across the line, and it's not super annoying that you feel like you need to disable it. It's just the right vibration. And there's also a heads-up display, which was a nice surprise, and it's not a little pop-up panel, so that's cool. Now, granted, this is a premium trim, but it feels really elevated in here. I am super impressed. But something that could be better is this backup camera. It doesn't take up the whole screen, you don't have a front view or a 360 view. Although the hood is tilted down, so it is really easy to see what's in front of you. If it had a 360 view, that would just be the Parmesan cheese on top of my bowl of pasta. Sorry, Andie, not right now. We don't have that. But I do have this. So after spending a week in the CX-30, I can honestly understand why young people would want this, pet owners, but honestly, I think it is great for seniors. And when you start to compare this to the competition like the Ford EcoSport, Hyundai Kona, Toyota CHR, Honda HR-V, this to me really stands out, and I think we're gonna see a lot of these on the road. What do you think, Andie? So I gotta say, when it comes to Andie, between the flat floor, easy entry, comfortable ride, quick to cool interior, she did really great in here. I mean, if I was a single girl with a pup, this would be a really great contender. Even one kid, I think this could work. But once you start having multiples, I think you gotta go up to a CX-5, CX-9, something like that. Oh yes, but Andie, hold on. I got a question for you. With that said, is this lab approved? I think it's pretty clear this is definitely lab approved. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel, click that bell so you know when our next video goes live. Follow Andie on Instagram to see pics of this CX-30 all week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.